So one of the things I'm going to do today while I'm out here is to create some new char in my char tin. And I have a number of different materials. I'm going to show you some before and afters of what they look like. So one of the things I have is, people have asked on my video, the last one I did with the granite and striker, what was I using for charred material? Well, this is what it looks like before it gets charred. It's 100% cotton table placemat. It's very thick, as you can see, and what I like about this, it's almost like wicking, cotton wicking when it's charred. It takes a spark very easily because of this great surface area, but will hold it for a long time, and that's actually very valuable when you're trying to start a fire, especially if you don't have very good flash tinder in the center of your bird's nest, or very, very dry, and you have to put some heat into the center of the bird's nest to dry the material out. Something that's a little thicker will go a long way. Now you can use cold extenders like punk wood, and I do that, but having this on hand, it doesn't fall apart when I'm trying to strike the stone. Works pretty good. So that's one of the pieces of material. Another one I'm going to put in today is just 100% cotton. I guess they were a pair of pants at one time, and I've used them for various projects, but it's just 100% cotton. It's not quite as heavy as denim, but it's heavier than t-shirt or any material similar to that. Another pair of pants, cut up for projects. And denim. Now this is relatively lightweight denim. It's not as heavy as a good pair of denim jeans are, but still is 100% cotton, and we're going to throw that in. Punk wood, good quality punk wood. As you can see, it squeezes and comes back out. Now, I have had success taking a spark directly into punk wood, but not all the time. It seems to be a bit of hit or miss, but every piece of charred punk wood will take a spark from me. I do use it quite often, as I said before, for coal extenders, so it is valuable for that. But I'm going to char this today to show you what it looks like before and after, and I'll keep a piece each out of the before so you can see what it looks like afterwards. Chaga. Now this is a little darker than you often see chaga. That's because this is something I've already brewed for tea, and why waste it, right? So after it was brewed, it gets a little darker, the center portions, and I'm going to throw this in today and char this up. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I've got. So what I have, as you can see here, is just a tin. I suppose it was a cookie tin or a Christmas cookie tin at one time, and you can see it's been used. And all it has is just a hole. Right now I've got a piece of tape over it. Just a hole in the center. And I'll throw this right in on my fire, and I'll show you what it looks like to cook these materials. Now this is fairly full. It's going to take a while, but they're all spaced out and they're not bunched up too tightly, so it shouldn't be too bad, but it'll take a bit of time to cook these. So one more thing I found on the way in, if I can get it apart, is I found a horse hoof fungus, and I'm going to get the amadou out of the top area. And it'll probably be damp because this has been sitting on the tree out here in the forest and in the rain. If I can get that out prior to putting it on the fire, I'm going to process that today, and we'll have some amadou, in the charred amadou. Now you can use amadou directly if it's very dry, or if it's processed down properly, soaked in ash material, pounded down. There's quite a process for going through that. I like to make things simple. If I can char it, great. If I can use it natural, great. If I have to go through a little work, there's a lot of other things in the woods, although it's worth doing just for the experiment. But, alright, I'm going to get these things ready to put on the fire. As you can see in the background, I have my kettle going. I'm going to have a hot chocolate just to hold me for a little while before I have my lunch. So I have my can on the fire. It's not a real roaring fire, but it's a good sized fire. Built it up a little bit. And what you can see is smoke pouring out of the top hole and from around the sides, and there is some flame coming from around the edges. So what's happening is the materials, which are all organic vegetable matter inside, are cooking, for the lack of a better term, but cooking in the absence of oxygen. So in the absence of oxygen, they won't burn like the wood will here. They will char, and we'll leave this on the fire. As long as we see smoke and or flame coming out of the top, the little hole there, we'll leave this on the fire. And when we stop seeing smoke coming out, then I'll use a couple sticks to take this off the fire, let the can cool down. We'll open it up and we'll see how our char turned out. Alright, it didn't take very long. Not much quicker than I thought it would, but there's no smoke coming out of the hole on top. Nothing coming out from around the sides. Been like that for a few minutes. It is possible to overcook your char, but you also at the same time you don't want to take it off too quickly. You'll end up having some materials that are charred and some that aren't. Not all bad, you can still use it. It's just better when it's completely charred. At the same time, you don't want it to turn to ash. So now, in taking it off, be careful you don't burn yourself. And I'll lay this here for a while. Don't be in a rush to open it up. If it's exposed to air and it's very, very hot, there's a chance that it will combust immediately. So we want to let it cool down naturally. And so we'll just leave that there until it's cold to the touch, and then I'll work the tin off. It usually does get kind of tight, but I'll work the tin off and we'll see what we have. Alright, so the char tin is nice and cool. Let's see if we can get her open. See the contents. What I'll do is I'll show you a comparison with the before and after, what these things look like. So there's a before and after of punkwood. Oh, that's a before and after of this one. They were roughly the same size as well, so there's a bit of shrinkage that goes along with doing this. Before and after, no, it wasn't, they weren't the same size, but you see the before and after. You can tell though, by looking at those, the sizes of the pattern inside, that the char is smaller than the original was. Where's my dark one? It looks like it may have been the dark one. A little hard to tell now. And that's the denim. So they remain fairly flexible, but they will come apart. So it can't be too rough on them. Where's my chaga? There's my chaga. I didn't get the amadou in before I wanted to put it on the fire, so now the convenient thing is I'm going to be trying the stones out in a second, and maybe I'll try a few of these pieces on the stones just to see how well they do ignite. Alright.